Welcome back to the Lemons Pretty Cool podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Patrick Briggs.
And I am the other host, Erin Briggs.
And today we have a very exciting episode. This is one that we have been looking forward to, again, since we've started the podcast. This is a place where I and my friends and my sister and everybody we know have spent almost, it feels like years worth of my time at, it has been over the course of years, but at this point maybe it's like a year worth of time I've actually been in there. Who knows, but
a lot of your
this
money.
is and a lot of my money, that's right. But they deserve it. So this is a place within the city that instills community. It builds relationships. It also sells really, really great music and records. So we're talking to Danny, Andy, and Bonnie from Grooves Records. And Grooves Records, the greatest record store you've ever heard of. Come on down. How are you doing today, guys?
That's right.
Absolute hype beast.
Thanks for having us.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you so much for taking the time, everybody. We know that Troy, the owner, couldn't be with us today, so we thank the Hall of Representatives we have before us who are going to give us the rundown. Speaking of, could you tell us a bit about yourselves and your roles at Grooves Records?
Yeah, I'm Andy. I've been here for since the new Junk Aesthetic came out by Every Time I Die. That's how I remember. I'm manager here, main buyer. So I buy all the used records that walk through the door. Started a little record label called Grooves Records. We've put out a few local acts, and that's pretty much what I do.
Should we go alphabetical?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Bonnie, and also I guess in like how long we've been here. I've been at Grooves for about, I think, a decade now.
Yeah, I think you came in 2 or 3 years after me, which was we both started by doing a co-op position through secondary school.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I was a high school dropout, and I needed just like one extra filler course to get my diploma. And I've been friends with Blair, who worked here forever, and he said, "Hey, you got to finish high school. You want some help?" And he was like, "Absolutely." And I was like, "Great." But I got hired on a few years after that. And so about a decade and at the shop, not on the floor as much as I used to be. I've taken on kind of administrative, business functioning, bookkeeping type duty-doots. I try to maintain order. That's my position here at the shop. I think. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I'm Danny, and I've been here for 5 to 6 years. Is it 5 years or 6 years?
You're just over your 5-year mark.
I was hired over Instagram after being a regular at the shop for a lot of years. Yeah, I got a message saying you want some shifts, and I gladly took it. And when I'm here, I just kind of do what needs to be done. I can buy records, I can put prices on them, I can do the cash and cause general chaos. I'm a general chaos machine.
We all need a bit of chaos in our lives, and I know Danny's version of chaos is it's a chaos that provides opportunity for forward motion. It makes people want to do stuff,
It's a special type of chaos. There's levels to it.
Yeah, I've been here for 5 years. It's been the best 5 years of my damn life.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun place to work. It's nice finishing a shift and you're not like racing to get out the door. And when you are going out the door, you're often going out with the people you just spent an entire day with. And that's seldom happens, I think, at any place of employment, really.
I never worked anywhere where I was actually real friends with my coworkers until I worked here. And it's cool coming in every day, just working with your friends, listening to whatever the hell you want. It's great.
I was going to say, you've all been there for a very long time. Not a lot of people stay at a lot of jobs for a big amount of time. And you've all are like, yep, got in, you're in here.
Yeah.
It's a pretty loyal staff that we have here. And a lot of it is to do with just having a great boss, as well as, you know, it's a fun job that helps too. But
He trusts us a lot as well. Like, he's not here today and he's just like, you guys do it. And it's like, okay. And he doesn't have to like run things by us. He really leaves it to us,
Yeah.
which is great.
it's cool.
Yeah. The Rent Club, though, they've had the same staff for like at least 15 years. You guys should interview them next. See what the secret is.
So it's funny when people drop off resumes and like, are you guys hiring? We're like, no one leaves.
No one leaves.
No, unfortunately, no.
It's often just like, I think when I was finally asked, it was like I was just in shopping one day after finishing a shift at a cafe, and then Blair was like, oh shit, right. And I was like, what? And he was like, you want to work here? And I was like, yes. You know, it was, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Hard to leave.
Yeah, it is. It's really hard to leave. Oh my goodness.
We've tried.
Yeah, I've tried. We have tried.
No. Well, no.
Yeah. Just adjusted. I just made adjustments, you know? So
Speaking
good.
a little bit about your fearless leader, Troy, and kind of the history of Grooves, do you kind of know the origin story of Grooves and kind of why he decided to open a record store to begin with?
Yeah, I mean, it's what he did his whole life. Even he grew up in Woodstock, and there was a record store there, Woodstock Records, and
Owned by Jeff Singer.
owned by Jeff Singer, who's a good friend of ours. And he grew up there, just going there every day, waiting, you know, in the early morning for CDs to come out. And when he wasn't, he was going through catalogs in mail order and ordering himself new CDs and new records. It's just something, he's always done it. Then he worked at Music World in Galleria Mall, or City Plaza,
yeah.
I guess. And then he moved to Dr. Disc, which is where him and Dave kind of found their bond relationship, whatever. And Dr. Disc was kind of on its last legs on the way out. So Troy and Dave kind of partnered up and said, let's open shop. And it was supposed to be on Richmond. And then about a week before they opened up, the landlord said, no, it's going to be too loud. I don't want a record store. So they frantically had to find another space. And it just so happened to be right next door to Dr. Disc.
Which was still open for about another year.
Yeah, so they were beside each other for about a year until Dr. Disc met its inevitable end and Grooves became Grooves.
Yeah. And that's Dave Clark.
Dave Clark.
Dave
sorry,
Clark
yes.
and Troy. Once he started.
Yeah. I feel like they moved things over in the night, like in wheelbarrows or something, you know?
Yeah,
Just
I
do a
remember him
quick
saying
little-
something about how they had like it was a
friends.
really quick move and frantic. I think there was something about doing it in the nighttime as well, like literally like an overnight move into the old shop, if I remember right. But yeah.
You know, my brother was his very first employee
That's
at
right.
the time, too, way back then. My brother Hugh. Was,
Sunshine Times.
Sunshine Times. God, I love that name. I really do. I really do.
What's the name?
Yeah, that's where we started.
What year was that? Like 2000?
I think
4 or
Grooves
5?
is 18 now,
Okay.
18 or 19. Because I remember pre-pandemic we were going to have the 16th birthday party, and then I think the pandemic coincided with the 16th birthday party because we were going to have like a sweet 16, if I remember right. And then the pandemic happened, so I think Grooves is about 18 years old now, if I can remember right.
Mhm.
I remember when it opened. Like, yeah, I used to go to Dr. Disc, so I remember when the next place opened up right beside it. It was really cool. Yeah.
I think that's really cool about how it's been in business for like you said 18 years as Grooves, but like 20 years or something like that in total, over 20 years, right?
Yeah.
As a record store. I loved going to the old location. That was a really cool.
We still miss it.
Yeah.
So seeing as you've been in business for well over like 20 years now, it seems like almost, there's been a really interesting rise and fall in different ways that people listen to music. And since you guys have been there for so long, you have a great perspective on this. You know, like going from tapes to CDs to streaming to now back to vinyl. Like what can you comment on about like the total change in music consumption over the years?
It's weird.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know me and Dan, when we started collecting vinyl, it's because we were poor. And it was like
Yeah.
thrifting and vinyl. It was like necessity to
Yeah,
get it.
absolutely. I remember like specifically being like 11 or 12 trying to buy Beatles CDs, and at the time a Beatles CD would cost $27.99, or like your Operation Ivy like import would be $27.99, and Dr. Disc would have them for $8. You know, you could get a 7-inch for $3. So it just like at that time it was the most financially sound option. And also being from the punk scene and stuff, like a lot of bands put out 7 inches in vinyl, like that never stopped in the 90s and stuff. So,
and I think, I don't know what it is, like record collectors. Yeah, I mean, I started out in necessity. I remember my dad getting me into, like, music was always a thing growing up, always going to my first record show with him at like 10 or 11, 12. And the gravitation towards vinyl, like, for me it was because I was poor, but now I think it's really cool, and people want to be cool. Right? Like it's
well, there is that, like, sort of like go into it when it's like cheap or whatever, but it's also, there was more to it than it just being cheap, because we were also involved at the time of Napster and stuff, and LimeWire and SoulSeek and stuff. But that's what I mean, like we were kind of sought out that physical. I think people always want that physical collector's sort of.
Yeah, I still don't know how to burn a CD or do it. Like, I honestly don't know how to do a download. Like,
well, you're in luck, because I don't do them anymore.
Yeah, I know. I just learned about Control Z on the keyboard about a month ago, to be honest. So, yeah, but people getting into it. I mean, the demographic of our collectors, of our regulars, it's amazing. We've had, I mean, when I first started here, it would be like old boomer dad dudes. There would be just kind of like these weird introvert nerd basement dwelly, like, I don't know how to, I mean, completely charming and wonderful, but it's like, you know how to like pinpoint like a comic book collector or a book collector, but the record collector, I'm like, I don't know how to narrow this down. Like, I don't know how to, and now it's exploded for like this completely different reason, when it's like on record store day, our first person lining up is a girl in grade school, the first in line, at like lining up with her family at 8 p.m. And previous, like when I first started, it would be people coming out of Call the Office, passing out frunk in front of the door, waiting for that one vinyl press we had. So it's just like, I don't know how to answer that question, because it's just blown up in such a weird, an amazing way.
It is weird, yeah. I mean, I think during like the early 2000s, when I was first getting into vinyl, it was a big punk thing too. It was punk and like hipster people and like hip hop. Like those were the things that were keeping it alive. And for something like Grooves, it really worked because Troy and Dave had excellent taste and had like very well curated walls and very well curated bins and stuff like that, where it was just excellent taste that kind of kept it alive. You had your classic rock, but then you could, you know, get like a fucked up record. Like I remember buying like Fucked Up New off the shelf there, and like I remember seeing the Arctic Monkeys before they were the gigantic band that they were now, and holding in my hand being like, oh, I think I'll buy this. I don't know. It's interesting. The boom that's happened lately, it definitely has been like interesting to see. Even in my, because I worked at like other record stores before this one.
Like what?
Like Sunrise Records. And it's funny because a lot of the ones that have like what that crowd was like back in that day have come here now. And that's an interesting thing to see, because I don't know, like, and that's in 5 years. Like the boom since COVID alone has been absolutely insane. You have like high school jockey type kids, and like, I mean, that I shouldn't say it. Let's stop that one. I don't mean high school jockeys type people, like cool high school kids. Like when I was a high school kid going to Grooves, I was a fucking nerd, and like a punk rocker, dude. And now it's like the cool high school kids are coming in asking for like Kendrick Lamar records and Tyler the Creator records. Like it's just a completely different demographic, which is super exciting to see.
It's kind of maybe like when, I don't know, think about like back in, it's like a regeneration of like the 70s or something, where it's like people have sort of reverted back to this, like it's the only means, it's the only way, and we just have absolutely everybody collecting and buying now, as you would way back then. So that's cool. Yeah.
We sell so many Taylor Swift records.
Oh, it's wild.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do you think it's like a big thing? I always relate it back to when like those suitcase vinyl players came out. That seems to be when a big boom of all of that stuff was like, okay, that's pretty cheap enough, then I can go start, and that's like a cool thing to start doing.
For sure, yeah. Urban Outfitters.
Thank you, Urban Outfitters.
Yeah, I used to hide discount cards in their record bins so that people can find us. Sorry, not sorry. But yeah, it honestly helped huge. Like getting it out there in a more mainstream area, like a clothing store that follows all the trends and is in a school city like us, and it gets everybody to find us and come down. So
Yeah.
I got no gripes.
I think another thing about the growth of vinyl, I think, is also that music is just really, really good right now. Like we're living in a time where like there was like a couple years where like, you know, you'd have the odd release that was fantastic, but it wouldn't be making like mainstream like sort of thing. But now you have like Tyler the Creator, like Turnstile, and like Taylor Swift, and like all these people who are making some of their best work, and people really want it. And it's like, you know, kids want it, adults want it. Like, I don't know. So let's talk about the transition of Taylor Swift. She went from like, you know, a kids kind of pop group to being like, you know,
Working with Justin Vernon for Bon Iver and Aaron Dessner for The National and making a folk record.
and putting out like critically acclaimed stuff. And like, I don't know, like we're just living in a time where really good music is being put out and people really want to collect it. And that's totally understandable. It's not, you don't have that same connection over Spotify when you're holding a record, when you're searching through the liner notes, when you're looking at who produced things and who played on what and who did, like, it's just not the same. It's very cool.
I read an article a while back in the Guardian. It was Adam Levine of like Maroon 5 being like, rock and roll's dead.
Yeah, he said that was the last real rock and roll
last
band.
real rock and roll band. And I remember reading this article and just laughing because I don't even really consider the guy rock and roll. And it's not even that rock and roll died, it's just that like our means of creating music, of getting music out there, it's grown exponentially. Is that the word I'm looking for? And you know, I remember going to shows in high school, always call the office. It would be amazing for like, you'd always get that like flyer, the cut, the calendar for the month, and figure out what we were going to go to. And there's this thing with like live music is changing in this way too, where you can't like rely on that. But it's not that there's an absence of music. I think it's just that there's such a saturation of so much different music happening now. People recording it, you know, bedroom pop and stuff. Like it's just there's
and getting signed to Matador.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, which is super sick. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like,
Still now?
yeah, like, you know, like that.
Exactly what I was thinking you were saying. Exactly, yeah.
It's a super exciting time, and I think a lot of people want to be involved in that, and that's very cool. And not to mention COVID.
Oh, yeah.
As much as like it was like a real damper to have the door shut, like it seemed like everyone over COVID bought a turntable. Like turntable sales, I know people always talk about record sales, but I'd like to see what the turntable sales have been over the past 2 years.
We had our highest turntable sales ever this last Christmas.
Yeah,
we sold more turntables than we've ever sold before.
People that couldn't go rustic and make bread went rustic and bought a record player.
Yeah. Or people upgrading, you know, from the suitcases and actually getting into it a little more. And
So is that enough of an answer?
Why do you think that people went back to using records over like getting tapes or CDs or anything like that? Why did it go back to vinyl?
CDs are the next effing
we can
vinyl. I guarantee it. Our CD sales have been going up. I don't know if it's kids getting cars
It's a lot of
from
kids
parents.
buying CDs.
CDs are coming back. But vinyl, I think with cassettes, I mean, there's not a lot of cassette players.
The thing about cassettes is like they're really cheap to make and they're really cool for local bands to have, but they're essentially a trading card because as much as you love them, they're finite. You can play them only X amount of times. They don't have the staying power of vinyl. Like vinyl just lasts forever. Like we have records here that are 60, 70 years old that you can still play. And yeah, they crackle and pop, but they absolutely play.
Don't leave them in your window.
I think a big thing about like the vinyl collector and the new people getting into it is like, we're coming from a generation where even their parents weren't raised with vinyl. Like a lot of these like 20-year-olds and under, like even their parents weren't raised with vinyl. So it's something completely new to their entire family,
Yeah.
which is an interesting, you know, like a lot of people are going retro with it, but these, like, there's a good demographic of those people who vinyl was never part of their life. So it's an entirely new thing that they're just getting. And like, we have a lot of parents come in with their kids and stuff, and that's like a bonding thing they do. It's really cool to see.
That's cool.
That's nice.
But why that too? I think like I mean, I always kind of go back to this idea of like technology and everything online. And we're always looking for ways to define ourselves, to express ourselves, to let the world know who we are. And I think something
Physical collection really helps. Like it's like it's a
Exactly.
physical manifestation of all of your of
like-
how you feel about yourself or how you want to be
like John Waters
viewed in
talked
the
about
world.
never going to bed with someone that didn't have a book in their home, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe vinyl is the new thing of that.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also another point that I like to think of is like, think of how old vinyl is. Like vinyl was the first format, and like, you know, you had A tracks like wax, like yeah, like you know, it wasn't always 33 1/3 RPM records, like, but there's always been like shellacs, and like it's always been like on the gramophones, like that needle to wax has always been
Sorry.
the more prominent thing, because like A tracks lasted what, 10 years, cassettes lasted probably like a good 30 years. I mean, and that's like, they were really popular for about 10-15 years, but like they're around for 30 years. CDs lasted for about a little while. I don't know the actual years and stuff, but like all of those have burnt out. Vinyl has always been there, and it's always been sold, and people have always been collecting. It's the one thing that like people haven't let go.
Yeah, I think like in our entire time working here, every day we have a customer, oh, vinyl's coming back. And it's like, vinyl never went anywhere. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been here.
it's been here
Yeah.
a long time.
I mean, like even the iPod's dead.
Or
Like they
iPod.
just stopped making iPods, but you can still buy records. Yeah, they officially stopped all production of iPods. So I think that that's even a fun thing. We're like, that's the modern technology, and we're still going back to like, you know, records. It's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of records and how cool they are, you guys had mentioned beforehand that like you've had to move locations. Now you're on like one of the big, more main streets now, Dundas here in the city. What made you move locations to Dundas rather than your old spot on Clarence? And did the construction during like that major construction affect the sales and everything? Were customers still just like, we gotta keep supporting, because I mean you stuck it out for the major downtown construction going on?
Yeah, we're in a pretty lucky position to, like, our customers are collectors. They're going to collect, so nothing will really stop them from coming to find their records. Much like Heroes and, you know, a few places like that.
Attic books.
Attic. We have a very loyal following. Well, loyal to the records. Well, loyal to us as well. Sorry, but yeah, we were kind of forced to move out of the old building. We had put in an offer to purchase it, but the landlord, I think he was just trying to move on to different things or something, ended up selling it to somebody else, which ended up being a blessing in disguise.
thank God.
It's what got us over here. They've done amazing work to the old building. It looks awesome now, a bike cafe in there and a gym, and it looks great. But
That old
it used to be,
the sinking floor, like
Yeah.
going through records,
Oh my
being
God.
like, is the floor gonna fall through?
I honestly
today?
don't know how they fixed it,
I don't even
but they
know.
did, and it looks great.
I don't know how we were in there for years. I remember like filing records in the winter, wearing like my down parka.
Yeah.
And people being like, "Do you work here?" And it's like, I know it looks like, yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, I can't believe we offered to buy that place. Leaking ceilings,
Yeah.
raccoons in the ceiling.
Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise that
Yeah.
we ended up here. It has been with challenges, like you said. Like we endured 2 years of construction, and then now we're in
Immediately followed that.
we're in the third year of a pandemic now. So it's been an adjustment, but also those have been blessings too. If it wasn't for the pandemic, we wouldn't have had an online store. We moved online now, so people can pre-order things, put things on hold, buy it from out of city, out of town. So all of these things, like, yeah, they sucked to deal with at the time. But it's one of those things where just every challenge kind of makes you better, and you're grateful for it in the end.
And that also speaks a lot to Troy.
Yes.
Like Troy just being like super determined. Like the man, like he's an excellent boss, and he knows, I don't know, he just knows how to handle a rough situation. And he knows how to make the best out of things. Like there's never a time you come in here where he's in a bad mood or he's fouled at any of us. Like he's just, anytime that anything like that has been going on, like with the COVID troubles and with like the construction troubles, and when money's been maybe a little tighter than it usually is, like he's always been like, we're getting through this, guys. They might not be the best week, but we're gonna do it. And I think that speaks a lot to like why we're still here. I don't know if anyone else would have handled it the way he does.
To that, like, he's also always taken such good care of us, like through all of that, like the construction and everything. When sales, can be rock bottom, he still gave us hours. He still, made sure we were paying our rent and eating food every night. And like he takes care of us so well. Which, to go back to what I said earlier, is why, big reason why we never leave is just because the man, he's a good man.
He's got a lot of faith in us.
Yes, that too, which is nice, and you feel it. He lets you know, which is huge. He is a rock.
He is a rock, and again, like Andy said, through those challenges too, the customer base that we have they just have always been supportive. We got so many nice letters, nice messages, and people just regularly coming in because we are a destination spot and we have that luck. Unfortunately, some restaurants and stuff like that, they don't have that. So they depend on a walk-in or a walk-by, foot traffic. They depend on that sort of thing. And we don't. People show up here with a budget and they blow it. and then they go above it.
I forget what the question was.
Getting through the pandemic and construction.
We answered that.
It's definitely been a hiccup. Me working behind the scenes now, I already see everything is coming back to normal, and that's awesome. It's like, things are definitely coming back, and I think the construction was kind of probably good training for the last 2 years too. Like we moved and then we got hit with that and it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. And then we just come back and then boom, and it's like, we've been here, we've done this, we're going to get through it. We already did it and we did it. And I think it's like, and it's a true sign of things kind of coming back too. We have our first in-store at the end of June.
It's true. Old Jenny Burkle.
Whoop, whoop.
Playing in the shop.
Yeah.
I forget what day, or else I'd totally plug it.
June 26th.
It's a Sunday after hours. Yeah.
Was it after hours?
It's after hours.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's awesome.
We'll get into more of the shows that you do a little later, but I wanted to ask a little bit about, Andy, you mentioned this earlier, that you had started Grooves Records, which seems like a very fun thing that you were able to do at your place of work. So like, for those who don't know, could you explain kind of what it is and how it got started?
Sure. So, I mean, it's probably like any other city. Growing up with a scene, you see a lot of bands kind of fade out. They could be incredible bands, but they're local. They don't have the means to record, pay $2,500 or whatever it is now to put a record out. And we just kind of got sick of seeing all these bands go through that. So we thought, in the position we were in, it would be a good way to give back to the community by getting some of the talent that we have an abundance of in the city and putting them in the studio and putting records out for them and giving something to them to kind of maintain where they're at and keep going and trying to build on that. So it's something I'm pretty proud of. I love it. I've had a lot of fun doing it. We've put out some amazing music. And yeah, it's been huge. And I think it means a lot to the local artists we work with too, to have that kind of support, and which is always nice. And we're happy to provide that for them. And it's just been a really nice thing to do in London for bands that deserve it. I don't know. Do you have anything to touch on that with?
I feel like it's a conflict of interest as I put out records on the label.
I was gonna say, Andy, I've absolutely taken advantage of that. Me and Danny, you know, maybe this whole interview is a conflict of interest. Me and Danny have played music together for years, and we absolutely like, it was a huge moment for me as if I can cut in here. It's a huge moment for me as a human being, as a musician, and somebody who has spent years of my life going to grooves, being a part of the music scene, wanting to be a part of a music scene for my whole life and everything. And then to have the local record shop be like, yeah, we're going to put out your record too. And maybe that's nepotism because of Danny or whoever. Like, maybe I've got the ins, who knows? But I mean, I gotta say, it meant the world to me. You know, I have the vinyl right above my head right now. So it's just like I appreciate it as a local musician what you've done, Andy. So great job.
Thanks, Pat.
If I were to say something about it, though, it's so many times you hear about these bands. Like Troy is full of stories of like bands that were amazing, and like I got a bunch of stories of bands that I used to watch when I was younger, and like they never put anything out, like Andy was saying. And I think it's really cool to like kind of take a moment and just kind of like crystallize it. Is that the right word? Like where you just like you have like kind of just a moment. It's just good for posterity, if nothing more, too, to just have like a documented evidence of there was a scene. This happened here. This happened between this year and this. Like, you know what I mean?
And CHRW has a really cool thing where they archive all the local London music, and so it gives us an opportunity to contribute to that too. Like there's records in that library that, you know, might not have been there. So it's fun to record a time in history that we all got to be a part of.
Well said. Very cool.
Without this being a conflict of interest, sitting in front of two people that you have recorded, do you have some of your favorite albums that you've made through this label and through Grooves Records that you can mention?
Yeah, so I'm so happy to say that, and proud to say that there isn't a single song we put out that isn't enjoyable. Every single thing we put out is incredible. The Never Betters, Grievances split is probably up there. All 4 songs by each band, were incredible. There's the Twin EP that we did that, you know, it took a long time, but I listened to those songs so much. They were so incredible. I think it was their first or second show. First one was at the Foam Dome. Second one was at Call the Office. And I ran up to Brian and I said, please, let's make this happen. And it was really cool. We got some other local artists, Resonance Printing. They silk screened the B-side, so we got some more local, what am I looking for here?
Local involvement.
Yeah,
communal effort.
Yeah, communal. That's what I was wanting to hear. So yeah, that's been great. And then also like the Whoopso one we did like an expanded version of that where we got to use different types of sleeves, and they all got silk screen too, and some of them have books in them. And the Heart Attack Kids one, we had, you know, one really limited color run, and then just a batch of normal ones. So it was fun seeing the really limited ones sell fast because everyone wants their limited records. Yeah, right out of the gate, it was just such a blast to start doing all that. But
Can't
yeah,
forget about Strange Ways.
Strange Ways started it off.
So true.
Dylan
Yeah.
Speck, Chris Belange, Louis Hennessy, they hit the scene just hard. They were so good and they were so fierce, and we put them in the studio. The story got picked up by CBC, and so all the guys in the bands were getting texts from their families. Oh, saw you in the paper and all that stuff. So that was all a lot of fun too. And yeah, it's just been a blast. You learn a lot too during the process of it all, and yeah, it's just eye-opening, and every band is so great and so nice. And yeah, it's been really awesome.
You've kind of answered this, but selling local records, why do you think it's important to be a place where local bands can sell their albums? Because not just putting out local bands music, you guys also provide an opportunity for local bands to sell their albums in a store, in a physical location where people can go to and get it. What's the importance of that?
Well,
You gotta support your community.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
without a doubt.
yeah, we're firm believers in supporting the community, and we all do this job because we love music. We love going to shows. We see these bands. So, I mean, we're just happy to be able to provide a spot for them to bring their stuff and sell it and get it out there to the world.
and it's really cool. We regularly have people come up and like from different cities and be like, "What's the local record? What's happening? What's happening in town?" And we're able to move records that way, like just people who are visiting and want to find out. And
Dan got shad to buy a Twin record. That
I
was
got
cool.
shouted by a Twin record, yeah, and a status non-status record
And
too.
a status not status.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really important because we are sort of like being a record shop, you know, you hear about all these like mythologized record shop situations where it's like it was a meeting hub for like local musicians, local, like, I don't know, like just like cool people in general. So it's one of those things where it's like you gotta have that local representation. Like the local scene should feel like welcome and represented within a shop in the middle of their city that's selling records. Like it would be a travesty not to have their stuff. And we do. Troy is, again, I'll keep bringing it back to Troy. Like, he's so stern on like, we will not sell it above what they would sell it for. Like we
take $1 charge.
We
just
do
to
a
cover-
dollar charge.
Just to cover the debit
ATM
terminal fees. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a hard line. So like people can sell their records out of this shop when they don't, not just like off their merch table, but there's like, you know, 8 hours a day access, 7 days a week, where they can come in and fans can buy their records and
For the same price as merch tip.
the same price as the merch table, and we give all that money right back to them, and it's super cool. Like I know, like, you know, it's and like being a musician and having not always worked here, but having my CDs here, whatever, I know what that feels like, and it's pretty incredible to walk into like a cool shop and see like your record sitting there. It's like that's
All the trendy kids.
all the trendy kids. Yeah, that's like one of those things where, you know, it makes a difference, and
Staff
it's just,
favorite.
yeah. You know,
guys
and
had distribution on
we
that.
had distribution. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a point where we didn't have to buy off of you anymore. We just order it.
Yeah,
That's probably not a good thing.
but no, it was it's always just cool, you know. And we try to keep like our flyer board filled with local shows. We try to, like, if anyone comes in asking questions about local bands, like I think we're pretty, like, we're not fully tuned in because it's impossible to be fully tuned in, but we're pretty tuned in with what's happening around the city, or like at least the going ons and like the bands that we like and stuff. So it's just nice to be able to kind of say that and have this, I don't know, the platform.
We also get like people too that are quite shy and timid about coming in and like, oh, we put up this flyer for this isn't really like thinking you're like wheelhouse, and it's like, absolutely we will. And they're like, what, really? You will do this? You'll do this? And it's like, of course we will. Like we wouldn't, you know, like why wouldn't we? I guess is the thing. Like we're not. Yeah,
Help us help you.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I really like working here too. It's just like the true sense of community within and and outside of the shop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's just building that community and like really, like, I don't know, kind of keeping everyone in mind as much as we can. I mean, we're only
Yeah, it's like, yeah, if there's any local aspiring musicians out there listening and you have something, bring it in.
Bring us your flyers.
Bring us some flyers.
Bring us your flyers. If you got tickets, we'll sell your tickets. If you
Shout out Stompbox.
Yeah, shout out to Stompbox for selling their zines here and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff happening
Local
in the city.
zines selling out.
Yeah.
Flying off the shelves. Their shows are selling
Crazy.
out. Amazing.
That's crazy that the zine is selling out. That's
Right?
so nuts to me.
It blew me away. Like, I've seen so many zines come and go in my lifetime,
Yeah.
and none of them have sold as well as Stompbox. So yeah, huge shout out to Stompbox.
Yeah.
That is so cool. I love that we've got the support of the record store, supporting the local scene. There's so much happening in the city. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Speaking of so much happening as well, we touched on it earlier and how crazy it can be. Record Store Day.
Yeah.
Pretty big day in the record industry, and really like I'm wondering about this now before I even it's kind of part of this question, but for those who don't know, can you tell us about it, like what it is? Like, has it always been a thing, or did it just start when Jack White was like, I'm the record king?
I think it's 20. How old is it?
Jack White is not the record king.
He is not the record.
No. Yeah, I think it's been around for about 20 years now. It started really small.
Mm-hmm.
Like
A few things.
I have been here, like I said earlier, maybe 13 years, I think. And I don't even really remember the first few, because there wasn't really, like, it was just like, okay, yeah, like some records are coming out today. It was no different than a normal Tuesday. Back then, releases came out on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then it just slowly built and built and built, much like the vinyl record industry itself, until it's to the point where, you know, we have lineups around the block.
Pretty cool.
And we used to have to advertise it, and like we barely have to do that anymore. It's just got
Now
its own legs.
now it's about 2 to 3 weeks of pure people calling, asking what's happening.
Yeah, do you have the Lake 7-inch?
And I'm sure the other shops in town have the exact same story about
If
it.
that's
Yeah.
a problem, that's no problem. You know?
It's a pretty cool problem to have. It's,
No, but it's amazing, and it's another one of those days, like we've been talking about this whole time. Is you really get to see the community that is surrounding us, and you see every face that you usually see like spread out throughout the year, and it's awesome. It's a lot of work. We're usually pretty exhausted, but it's also very humbling. See so many faces that
I can never
love,
recall like the day after. I can never recall.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a bit of a blur.
I'll leave my shift and I'll be like,
yeah,
like
we traditionally
it's always a pub night.
we traditionally have quite a few drinks afterwards,
Mm.
you have
as
to have a
both a
little
celebration and
necessity.
a necessity.
Yeah, it makes me feel for anyone that has to work at like a big
Mhm.
box store on Boxing
On,
Day
like,
or
Black
anything. You
Friday.
see those people
Yeah,
smashing through lineups, and you're
Mhm.
like, oh, like Record Store Day feels like that. It's absolutely.
but it's great.
madness.
I mean, even for me, like I get records that never would have been released otherwise, so I'm pretty happy. I have a good amount of records from Record Store Days throughout the years, and yeah, it's nice. It's fun. It's chaotic. I love chaos.
It's chaotic. It goes by
I
so
love it.
fast.
Yeah.
So fast, so hot.
Oh yeah.
Just never sweat.
I was
standing in one spot.
so sweaty ringing people through this year. It was insane. My hands were shaking. I was like moving so fast.
You ever sweat just
Sweet.
giving somebody change back?
It's a lot of fun, and we are happy to be a part of it every year.
It has become quite a juggernaut, though.
Yes.
Like, it has gotten way bigger. I remember, like, you know.
We were supposed to have a huge concert. We had a special band, Bruce Peninsula,
Oh, yeah.
that was going to play in the street. We were going to do the twin record release, and then the old coronavirus hit us and really
The old Rony Pony came
really
to town.
screwed us
All
up.
that out.
But hopefully next year we might do a big one. We might go big, have a bunch of bands in the
Yeah.
streets and stuff like that.
Troyapalooza.
Troy Palooza, Troy Stock.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like it.
We had been talking with the
Troychella.
Dundas place. We've been talking with the Dundas place people about that organizing. And I was like, what do you want? And we're like, a jumpy castle. We can't get a jumpy castle.
Yeah.
So
Write your local MP.
Jesus, get us
Tell them to allow jumpy
Jumpy
castles on
castle.
We
Dundas
want a
Street.
jumpy
Yeah.
castle.
like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want a jumpy
For the
castle?
third weekend of April,
Yeah.
we want a jumpy
Jumpy
castle in
castle.
downtown London.
on a damn jumpy castle, and that's it. That's all. That's all we want.
That's all we've ever wanted. I think
Really
even at
not
Groups,
much.
Groups 1.0, we always wanted to get a jumpy
Yep.
castle out front. Big time for record store.
We'll
day.
get one.
Yeah.
Trust me, pal. We'll get one.
I'll be there. I'll be your jumpy castle like handler.
Yeah.
I'll be letting people in and out, being like too tall, take off those heels, that kind of thing. It'll be great. Make sure it's full contact though once you get in there. That's the
Full
main.
contact. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Tarps off. Full contact.
Just to stay on the note of Record Store Day, and you mentioned you've got some really cool records, Andy. Do you guys have an idea? What's one of the coolest exclusives that you've picked up over the years on Record Store Day?
Well, so no, this isn't completely answering the question, but about 8 or 9 years ago on Record Store Day, there was a Death Grips record released, and it came with a California license plate that said Death on it.
Cool.
Like real license plate and everything. I just picked one of those up recently. They're worth about $1,000 now, and Buddy picked it up originally for $19 on a whim.
Wow.
So it's not unusual for some releases to do that, to skyrocket. So I think there's a lot of pull because of that. People are kind of gambling and wondering what the big release is going to be. But yeah, back in my high school days when these bands weren't even putting out CDs, thanks to Record Store Day, they're reissuing them on vinyl. And so I'm getting back some nice nostalgia thanks to Record Store Day. So I'm all for that. Census Fail. Woo!
Yes, absolutely.
That was
absolutely.
that was a big one for me.
Remember that they redid they repressed Operation Ivy's Energy and Hectic both on 12 inches, and me being a gigantic Operation Ivy fan, that was the first time I was able to truly own them. And Joe Strummer, they did the street core, Joe Strummer, the Mescaleros, and there's also this one of my favorite Record Store Day ones is they did that orange 7-inch where Green Day is covering a Husker Du song, and the A side is the Husker Du song. It's Don't Want to Know If You're Lonely, and the B side's Green Day covering it, and that's one of my favorite things.
That's cool. That's really cool.
What about you,
What
Bonnie?
about me? I've got two favorite things I can think of. My favorite would be, it was a Small Faces box set French reissue of the French singles.
I remember that.
I was really happy to get that. I love the Small Faces a lot, and that was just cool as heck. But this year, and this was cool emotionally, this is really cool. I got one of our regulars, Sean Wright, if you're listening, hello.
Hi, Sean.
Hi, Sean
Love
Wright.
you.
We love you. So this year I really wanted to get for myself the damned Strawberries, and we got one copy in, and I was like, I saw the lineup, and we've been doing this thing with COVID, and we're handing out tickets. So the first people coming down the line, first guy at the door is like, the damn Strawberries. And I was like, God damn it. So there he goes, he gets it. And Sean trickles in at some point shortly thereafter, and he was like, what were you guys hoping for? And I'd mentioned I really wanted that. It was gone right out the get. And he came back an hour later. He picked one up from Odyssey, and he brought me a copy of it as and I just thought that was so cool, because I mean, Record Store Day, that day is about the customers. It's not about us.
Yeah, we don't get to buy the records until the day is over.
We have to follow the same rules that y'all gotta follow. So to have, it was really sweet to have one of our all-time favorite regulars.
He's done that for me before too. He bought me a Soccer Mommy record.
That's so nice. And so that was cool. And to get the damn Strawberries, Smells Like Strawberries. It's and that was just this past month. It was really sweet. Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
Huge shout out, Sean Ray.
Yeah, huge shout out.
Huge. Yeah.
Literally got letters in the mail from that man. He's a blessing.
Yeah. A ray of sunshine enters with him no matter the weather outside.
Yeah.
obviously shows the kind of like, you know, community and kind of
It's nice.
I'm not sure the word I'm looking for now. The atmosphere that you're setting up, you know.
We try to.
Yeah.
There's one thing that has always bothered me is the record store reputation, where everyone is an asshole and they're snobby and they're snarky and they know more than you. It's like, no, I just want to like you and I want you to like me and I want to help you find a nice record you're going to enjoy. Like I hate the snobby, snotty side of being a record collector.
I think if we had that, maybe we wouldn't have made it through all this.
Yeah. So we pride ourselves in supplying a good atmosphere and making you feel welcome.
Oh, yeah.
We're the
and
nice
make
guy
you friends.
shop.
I hate when people come up. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, I feel for them, and I'm like, this is probably a dumb question. And it's like, no, it's a question. Like, there's no, don't. Like,
Just a question.
Just like, so this is a dumb. I know. I mean, heck, I don't know. I've kind of stopped caring, but that's after 10 years of working here. But yeah, anytime I'd go to other record stores in other cities, I was be like, a little timid, a little freaked out.
Yeah.
Now I don't care.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, it's something I hate when people are anxious and nervous of us.
We just want to be happy and we just want you to be happy.
Yeah,
Let's supply happiness together.
yeah.
I gotta say, to be honest, when I first went into Grooves, I did have that very timid feeling of, okay, I was like very young, being like, oh, what am I looking for? Especially because I wanted to get which I do have now, thanks to you guys ordering it in, a Spice Girls record.
Oh,
Ooh,
yes.
Which one did you get?
The Spice one, like the original.
Spice Girl, not Spice
Nice.
Girls. Nice.
So
Yeah.
that was one that I was looking for, and it was always very awkward to be like, hey, do you guys have any Spice Girls?
Yeah.
Like, feeling
No,
like
I forgot to buy that.
kind of thing.
It's out of print now and I can't buy it. You're lucky. I forgot. I grew up on Spice Girls, Backstreet Boys, and Sync, but I don't care. That's my shit.
I saw Spice Girls on Much Music back in the day.
Whoa.
Yeah, one of my older sister's cool friends, we drove down for the day. We climbed on a roof overlooking Much Music, and then the police came by and they told us to get down. And then my friend swore. Then she said, I
Oink,
wanted to be a policeman until you came by and did this to me. But I saw the Spice Girls for a moment. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not on concert though.
There you go.
Just an
Good shit. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm jealous.
I mean, there isn't a lot of pretense here. I don't think there's not a lot of pretension. There's not a lot of
No.
like elitism. Like honestly, the other morning when Bob walked in, me and you were doing the Sunday cleanup, and he walked into fucking bare naked ladies.
oh
We were rocking hard.
yes.
It was fun.
It was for a moment, you know. When the customers came in, B&L went off.
Yeah, that's right.
Then it went to
Well,
just
not immediately.
straight to Kulu and.
I mean, and the other day, I mean, we were listening to Right Said Fred just to get an
Oh yeah,
idea.
we listened to Right Said Fred the other
Yeah.
day.
So I don't want anyone to be intimidated by their requests, their tastes. I mean, this is you kind of collecting you, and like, who am I to be like, don't? you
Yeah,
know?
man. Like the one thing about music is even if it sucks, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Like, even if it sucks, it's still fun to make fun of. You know?
And I suppose if there's any time people do come in and like, maybe we seem a little, I think it's just a wrong sign.
We're doing it to each other.
We're doing it to each other all the time.
Never to a customer, but
All the time. All the time.
Regulars.
Harassing on each other.
Bob, why'd you put that on?
Yell at one another.
Oh yeah. Bonnie just looking at me and being like, again? Yeah, dude, sorry, 4th time this week.
Oh yeah, repetition drives me nuts.
I think it's like that Japan Droids album. It's got to go on again, you know.
Yeah. No, but that's kind of the fun of it, though.
Yeah, for sure.
You had
Not having that sort of thing.
Yeah. You spoke a little bit earlier about Odyssey and how that kind of fulfilled your record store day thing. As more record stores pop up around the city, do you find that this creates more competition, or do you have more collaboration with everyone and trying to find
I
things?
mean, competition is healthy, especially in a small market.
Yeah.
And yeah, to my knowledge, we're all just buds trying to help each other out.
Yeah, like Justin used to work here.
He worked here twice.
And then he went to Toronto, and then he came back here for a moment, and he opened that place up. And there's no animosity. We're neighbors.
Not at
I
all.
give him haircuts all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he comes in the shop regularly. We actually sell some of his old King record cleaner and stuff like that. Like Justin's been a long time friend,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't
He's a good
there's
boy.
any weirdness there. We always like every time he comes in, it's like an hour-long chat and stuff, and we see him out at the bar. Actually, me and Justin did have a nice moment at the Susan show. We kind of like had this thing where we're like, it's cool that we're at two different shops, but like we're just like hanging. We're just having like a good moment. Like we like love and respect each other. I don't personally get out to Odyssey too much, which is I really should.
I do.
I think though, like if there was only one shop, it wouldn't get as much pull. Whereas if they're saying, I want to go get some records.
It's record shopping
Then
day.
if there's 4, 5, 6, 7 shops, in the neighborhood, then they have a better chance of getting something they're going to like.
And-
They're going to pop around, and all for that. Love
Yeah,
it.
and I think like all of us as record retailers, we all offer kind of a different variation, a different flavor of record store, and
Definitely.
that's it. Like Mike at Speed City, it's very much like the punk, the old, the and Justin, he veers into video as well. And there's no one in town doing indie video anymore. Like Flicks was the last place I recall, or Hot Dog. Sorry.
Yeah, Hot Dog was good.
So yeah, we're all offering different takes on the product we're offering and have different variances in that, and I think it's cool. And yeah. I've never been like, oh, I ought to get those guys.
No, that's a really good way to put it. Like every shop has its own individual flavor. Like it really is like curated to like the owners. And like Justin's got such a great ear, but like we probably don't listen to a lot of the same stuff. But it's one of those things where the curation between all the shop thing and the different things they carry. That's trailing off.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's really cool. If we all did the same thing, it might be more of a problem, but we all do very different things. And it's like, I don't know. It's cool. I love those shops.
Robert at the Idiot too. We can't forget him.
Yep, good old Robert.
Yeah. We used to sell him sleeves way back when too.
Village Idiot.
Yeah. So
we love all the shops here.
Forgetting any indies.
I think that's it.
That's it.
Jumbo Video was selling records for a bit.
That doesn't
No way. Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, but no, just nothing but love.
Yeah, truly. Yeah.
Honestly, it's good to hear because as a consumer, I enjoy, like you're saying, the fact that because there are different shops, like each shop can sort of zone in on a specific aspect, like you're saying. So right, like you can go to Justin for like really good soundtracks and like and movie stuff. We can go to Grooves for like pretty much like your good take on everything. Like you can come here for,
We got all the staff here to do that too.
Yeah.
and like and hella cool staff and everything. Yeah. And like Speed City for punk rock and everything. So it's good to be able to have that option. And like honestly, you get tired of going to the same spot every single time, right? It's good to have, and you can make a day of it that way too. You can go to different shops and pop around, make it a record day.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
I think it's a healthy thing to have a few shops scattered around.
Oh yeah.
One of Justin's things too is really like knowing what the person wants. I find that really about Justin. He's really good at like showing you a band that you would never have ever heard of, and you love them. Like he's really good at knowing what someone's gonna like. Like that's kind of like he's really like psychedelic and like garagey kind of stuff too. Like I don't know, Justin's great at that.
Do you have to
Yeah,
give
we
him
never
like
met
here are 3 things I like, and then he's able to do it, or can he just look at you and go, "This will be what you
I
want"?
think he has like an encyclopedic brain.
Yeah.
He's an encyclopedic brain. He remembers things that you've bought, and he's just like, okay, if they bought these things, and I think I've never quizzed him on it.
Oh, that's so
Anytime I
cool.
go to Anderson, have a couple of drinks, then I'm like, I'll be back in just a minute, and then I come back with like a bag of 3 records. So it's just how it goes. It's how it goes.
Well, something that they do, which you guys have done for a long time, is host shows, which is really cool. Before COVID, you were hosting shows in the store. And it was a really great integral part of the city when it came to record store day. You'd always have like bands playing and everything. And honestly, just when it came to releases, you'd have like really cool days where Whoopso or different bands could, perform in store. Why did you find that to be something that you really want to do? Why did you want to offer that space to bands to perform?
I think initially it's just kind of tradition. A lot of record stores kind of supply that space, and it's cool to have bands. But then as you go, you start to learn more about the community, and also it's just a little spicy sometimes. You don't know what you're gonna get. Someone had trouble finding a venue that night, and they're on tour, and everywhere was booked, and so they say, "Hey, what about the record store?" And then you get this cool band you never would have heard of come into the shop and lay down some sick licks, and it's awesome. So I mean, it's flavorful, that's for sure.
Yeah, the stores that
Spicy.
I remember going to like Music World for signings.
Yeah, I saw Not by Choice at an HMV in White Oaks Mall.
So yeah, it's a way for bands to promote themselves, but then it also brings. I mean, often these bands we see people we've never seen before, and then it's like, oh, I didn't know you guys were downtown. And then
make some connections.
Yeah. Just
I made some band friends just from working at the shop. It's cool. They're in town and come by the shop.
Friends?
Prawn, emo band from the States.
Did you
They
see them
came
at
with us,
APK?
and that was an APK show, and they were in the shop before.
Yeah.
So it's nice. You get to meet people and hear new things.
Any plans for shows in the future right now?
Jenny Burkle. She's our test runner. She's our first New World concert.
Yeah, she's an amazing folk artist living in Nova Scotia,
Lunenburg,
in Mahone Bay.
Never mind.
With her husband Ryan Bolt, who is also in Deep Dark Woods, who's also just powerhouse musician. So yeah, she will be here near the end of June.
26th, I think.
I thought we said 23rd earlier.
It's the Sunday. It's the last.
It's the 26th because
Yeah.
there's the 24th, 25th, 26th. 26th is the Sunday.
She's an incredible artist. I remember Dundas Street was doing an arts fest, and we had her play. And I took my lunch at the time, which was a dumb mistake. But I remember walking back. Oh my God! Sorry, your phone is ringing. We're closed.
Which John?
Slattery.
Oh, John Slattery. He's the worst. Shout out to John Slattery for being the worst.
Don't
Sorry.
cut that out.
Why don't you? Can you not?
He doesn't
pick it
know
up
what a
and end it?
podcast is.
Can you not pick it up?
I muted this one, but the other ones are still ringing.
We'll just wait 1 sec if that's okay for it to run.
Sorry.
No worries.
Fuck, leave it to John.
7:30.
Anyway, we were having an arts fest out on Dundas Street here, and I was taking my lunch at the time. And I remember walking back, and like she's got just such an amazing,
pipes
beautiful
on her.
voice, and just hearing her voice like reverberate off of all the buildings, it was like tunneling down the streets both ways, and it was like haunting and beautiful. I had goosebumps just thinking about it, and like she's incredible. So yeah. Come out to that for sure.
Yeah, we'll be posting on the socials about that as well as things firm up, but we're pretty excited.
It'll be the debut of our new PA system.
Love that. PA systems are big deals. So that is like, for people that don't understand, that's a big deal. What's one of your favorite memories from a show that was hosted at Grooves?
Whoopso.
Oh, setting off the fire alarm
Oh
continuously?
dear, yeah.
Whoopso on record store, they're setting up the fire alarm.
Yeah, I don't even know what it was.
Like-
Like air pressure or something forced the fire alarms to go off, and they like played through it.
Didn't the
Until no, they
fire
were
truck
playing
show
while firemen were coming through them. Like firemen were coming into the shop through Whoopso as they're playing, which are now status on status. And yeah, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, that was
Just
that was
fire
cool.
trucks wailing, people coming in, and Whoopso just still.
we did a after hours 7-inch release for the Heart Attack Kids.
Oh, yeah.
And we filled the shop. It was pretty cool. I think that's probably one of my favorites. That was pretty fun. Other than that, like probably, I don't know, Strange Ways, Danielle Frick, like 7 or 8 years ago at the old shop. That was incredible. That blew me away. A lot of cool bands.
I want to add in one, and we should end it on like a more exciting note, but this was at Grooves 1.0, and it was you and me, Andy, working, and I don't know who it was. I can't recall. To an audience of no one, it was an East Coast band, but there was a bird that got into the shop. And so we've spent a good 40 to an hour just trying to get this bird out. Well, these people performed to no one. Just a little chickadee.
Yeah.
That's a funny memory for me.
Yeah, Wooden Sky played here a few times. That was always good. They're incredible Toronto musicians.
One of my favorites was Andrew James. I didn't work here at the time, but it was at the
Oh, yeah.
and it was like AJ from like Whipping Wind, classic, like one of my favorite songwriters to ever come out of this city for sure. If not, yeah. And he had just Whipping Wind had kind of broken up or something, and he just had a 4-track, like an old like vintage 4-track. He just put it on thing and just danced around, like the whole shop was just like dancing and doing his like AJ thing, and he's got like the most beautiful crooning baritone voice that was just.
I remember walking down Richmond,
melted me.
And he was doing it out front of Prince Al's.
Yeah.
Just like to nobody. He was just there playing his songs. Amazing song. He had that 7-inch, and he like had like custom made envelopes.
Yeah, the longest straw.
The longest straw.
Straw. Yeah, that's cool. There is a CD version of that stuff that he was doing at that time.
Is there?
I got a little.
That's one of the cool things too about like local musicians. They do cool shit. His record came in an envelope.
I started a band with AJ in Grooves after that show. At that show, I think. He was like, hey, Simon says he was thinking about putting a band together. I play drums. I was like, all right, let's go do it. That was a fun Grooves moment.
There you go. Grooves gives birth. Grooves gives birth.
Grooves gives birth. All the groovy babies in the world.
I hated that.
I was going to say, well, if anyone's listening and if they've made babies, I was going to say, now that's a weird thing. Yeah, Grooves.
I hope no one's made a baby in the
below
show.
And let us know. It turned into something a lot grosser than I thought it was going to be. But anyways.
If it was a key holder, and it was after hours.
Yeah. How do you guys see kind of like the future of Grooves? We kind of talked about how there's been a big rise in vinyl right now. What do you see? Do you think the bubble's going to pop or anything like that? Or do you always think there's going to be collectors going for it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that it's lasted this long, people were collecting in the 50s and 60s, and people are still collecting today. I have full faith that it will continue. I mean, it's possible. Like, people are always selling things at various stages in their life because they're either moving or relationship status has changed or something. So there's always going to be people who do give it up and sell all their stuff.
The divorce collections.
And just, divorce collections always rule. If you're getting a divorce, bring us your records.
That high fidelity was right about accurate.
But anyway, no, I think there's something about collecting records and like having a stereo and everything that you kind of commit to it. Records are big, a stereo is big. You're just kind of like, this is what I do now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you find out quick if you're going to commit to it.
Yes, yeah.
Myself, I mean, I can't remember a moment in my life without music. Music has always been, it's always been there, like forever. And I think everyone's going to need music. So I think in whatever capacity or whatever medium,
Cheers to that.
It takes hold. Yeah, CDs are coming back, guys. Hop on that train. It is.
It's true.
It's So
still got all mine. Still got all of mine almost. You know what I loved most about CDs that they should bring back is CD DVDs, where you would like they would sell the CD and it also include like a big behind the scenes tour documentary and like a live show. That was my favorite thing. I still have all of those that I used to have.
Yeah, that was cool.
So yeah, I think everyone always needs music. I don't think any of us can. There's like, yeah, music can just kind of make me. Except the other day, I was listening to Madonna and I was crying. It like, it was just like this.
It is a ray of light.
No.
I know your era, Madonna.
Yeah. It's like, no, I do love Ray of Light. I've got that on my holds right now. But it was just this kind of this feeling of like, damn, like this thing has been with me forever, and it just kind of listening to it just transported me back to being a little kid, and we all need those moments, and maybe just so like I don't think it's going anywhere.
It's definitely not going anywhere. There might be some relative bubble burst.
Yeah,
because the pricing has gotten a little, like, as far as Discogs and like online marketplaces, like there have been like a real rise in prices that I feel like are being pushed by a lot of people who kind of don't know how to feel it out yet, and be like, if I just wait, I don't have to pay $300 for it. You know what I mean? Like, because that's typically the case. But like, I don't know, I could be wrong on that, but
I definitely do feel like we may be at a bit of a peak, just considering the way some collectibles are going. But I've also thought that for like the last, like every year for the last 10 years.
Exactly.
Like every year, sales seem to creep up and creep up and creep up and creep up.
for every 100 people that get into records, I think 60 stick around.
Mhm.
Conservatively.
Yeah, if not more, yeah.
Like when they're kind of just getting into it, like when they're just testing out the water, seeing what they want. I think at least like a good portion of them stick around, not all of them, but like there's enough of a base that this will always be a thing.
I think so.
Well, guys, is there anything else you'd like our audience to know about Grooves Records? You know, this is a good opportunity to be like, location, times open, social media handles, events coming up, that sort of thing.
Check our Instagram and our Facebook.
Yeah, we've
Follow us or don't.
We sell records for a reason, and so we're not really. We do have our social medias, but we don't keep up with it too well. Come in.
Give us a call anytime.
We might answer.
We love
hours.
Don't do that.
Don't call us.
goddamn JS.
Yeah, our hours are fluctuating all the time. I think that's the one thing we're always posting online, really, just as we're kind of adjusting to getting back to normal.
If there's one constant in life, it's
our hours.
Bonnie making posts about our hours on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the one.
And Bob and Melissa posting the fresh pics.
Fresh pics.
Our other Fresh Pick Fridays
Fresh
that
Pick
are
Friday.
never
On
posted
Friday.
on Friday.
Yeah. We are open 7 days. We
Yep.
close on the holidays that you get paid for, except Boxing Day.
Check out our online store,
It's-
which
you'll find a link to it if
you can Google it. I
Yeah.
don't.
Local bands, bring everything you got.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring us your demos, bring us your CDs.
What else are we supposed to hype for ourselves here? in this
Come see
moment?
Jenny Burkle in
Oh, yeah,
June.
that's gonna be nice.
And there's no dumb questions.
Honestly, no dumb questions.
There's no dumb
No
questions.
dumb question.
I
Ask
don't
us
even-
whatever you want.
I don't even know how to set up my own record player, really. You know, I always divert to go to Andy at the back. He'll tell you what you need. I don't even know a lot of those answers.
No, if anything, due to his absence, I would just like to thank Troy while we have a voice to do that. While
Thanks,
he's not
Troy.
here. He's one of a kind. He's a great guy, and we look forward to many more years working
Yeah.
with him.
Oh yeah.
He was a great man to be working for.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
He built a pretty amazing place.
Don't cry now. Try to hold it back. Try to hold it back.
You did just have to hold it back.
So that I will add to that, Troy. Just like thank you so much for putting out a incredible place for the community to come to. So if you're listening back on this episode, Troy, they did a great job, and we're gonna get into some London-based questions now. So we're gonna dive into some of your favorite stuff about London. Everybody here. So, okay. So,
Firing rounds.
all
I
right.
love
So favorite place to eat in the city.
Krabby Joe's.
Morrissey House.
Nice.
Morrissey has a great answer. Yeah.
Morrissey House.
House is great.
It helps that my fiance is a chef there.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I really like the Run Club.
Run Club is good.
I love the Run Club.
You know what? Straight up shout out to Nooners.
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 Has Nooners
Just-
been open for a minute?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, man. They're just
Oh.
tucked away. At least twice a week, I'm going into Nooners and getting myself a nice little pasta salad or something. I don't know.
Wow
Nooners is
shawarma. Wow
Wow
Oh,
shawarma.
shawarma.
yeah, fuck yeah.
Best
Nicest
shawarma
guy in the
shop.
world.
Nicest
Wow,
guy in the world.
shawarma, so good.
Amazing family, amazing food, great people.
Amazing.
All right. What this one might be very easy or very difficult. Your favorite neighborhood, as we are the city of hoods,
The
neighborhoods.
city and the city of opportunity. Am I right, Jim Chapman? What?
Mr. Chapman is full anti-vax now.
Uh-oh.
Anyway,
This happens.
I
My hood's my favorite hood.
know that's what I want to say too,
Yeah, we're neighborish.
but I don't know what my hood is called.
So I lived, born and raised in Blackfriars, and now I'm back in Blackfriars. I can't get enough of that neighborhood. I live right by the ballpark. It's so
It's nice. There's a lot of neighborhoods near downtown where you can be downtown but not feel downtown,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and those are the best. You can, especially if you are kind of centered around downtown. I was just telling Danny this yesterday. Nothing in the city is more than 20 minutes away if you're centered
If
here,
you're centered, yeah.
and that's nice.
So on my walk to work today, I saw a heron. I saw some birds and some little baby geese.
Yeah, Blackfriars
Yeah,
has
it's awesome. It's
has
fantastic.
all of it. We saw here and there the other day.
Yeah. And then you're right downtown. It's incredible.
Public pools need to open sooner than later.
Oh, Gibbons,
Yeah.
Gibbons pool.
Thames too.
Gibbons,
Thames
Gibbons.
Park. I like
I'm-
Thames Park. They got a splash
Gibbons.
I'm
pad.
sick of waiting
Completely
till the end
under
of June.
construction right now, so it won't be opening.
You're
Which
kidding.
one's under construction now?
Thames
oh,
Park
Thames, yeah.
is
Yeah.
That's okay.
'Cause
That's
the-
okay. Gibbons is good.
The Gibbons is phenomenal.
Gibbons will
is-
do.
Gibbons is so cool. The
I-
Blackfriars is my hood. What's yours, Danny?
I don't know. Like, I want to say my neighborhood, but it's weird. There's a lot of screaming and sirens. You know, I like walking through Wortley on a summer evening.
Yeah,
I lived in Woodfield a lot of times, and I'd like to get back to Woodfield. As far as like actual residential neighborhoods go, definitely Woodfield. As far as like having
After,
businesses, downtown London.
after that last storm, Woodfield was literally a field of wood.
Mm. Too soon. They've only had their power back for 48 hours.
That was great
Oh.
storm. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I live in Old East, in my neighborhood, like the Lauren Ave area. They're still cleaning a bunch of it up. It's crazy.
Eviscerated.
Oh.
But anyways, on lighter notes, a London small business that you couldn't live without.
Oh, dang.
And you can only say one. No, I'm kidding.
That's a
Only
really good
one?
question.
The only one I can't live without, I've been having to live without for so long, Frilly Lizard. R.I.P.
Wow,
I
okay.
love that shop so much. But right now, okay, I got to think about that
Can't
one
live
for a minute.
without. Oh, that's
Is there any like parameters to what sort of businesses can be?
It could be anything. It could have.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna throw it out.
earlier.
Holy Diver.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The Holy Diver, my favorite place to be. I love that place. It's a great bar, great food. Also, I should have added that to the food because their food is fantastic.
Food is amazing.
I love Holy Diver. That's probably outside of Groove's Records, my favorite place to be.
Yeah, no, I think my favorite business actually just closed down. It was the Good Value Thrift on Dundas.
Oh,
I was so sad, but I know there's a location like Oxford Street Bridge area that I think is still going, hopefully. But yeah, the Good Value, dang, I love that place.
yeah. That place was wild. That's why I went for like miscellaneous cables.
Yeah, you had to
They
go
would
there
just
when you
have
were feeling,
boxes of cables and
brave.
wires.
you had to be feeling brave.
Oh yeah.
There was going to be smells, and I loved when I would go in there. I would never, you'd always have to guess when you were buying like garments, being like, I think this will work. I think this will work. Because the fitting room is terrifying. And,
Oh yeah.
and they always gave me a good deal at the good value, even though it was already a good deal.
It's already a good
value.
deal, but you definitely have to factor in the amount of detergent you'll be putting in your washer.
Oh, shit, that's close too. I was going to
Which
say
one?
the sausage stand at Masonville by the Winners.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Yeah.
the sausage.
Oh,
It used to
yeah.
be outside of Grooves.
Yeah.
No way.
Buddy of mine has his number, and because you could buy like bulk sausages off him, so we would.
Oh, no.
And yeah, texted him recently, and he said they're no longer in business, which means it's the same guy. It was his brother down at the Covent Garden Market who ran that shop, and so they both closed. Rip.
Yeah, this is
Less
this,
sausages.
You
This
said you said this was going to be a lighter
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Dang, now we're talking. Sorry, Pat. We went the wrong way. I'm still trying to think. I don't know. I love Storm State.
Oh,
It's in my neighborhood. Amazing people, amazing beer. I love Storm State.
It's a good
Right
one.
there.
Good one to end on. If you guys
Absolutely.
were to have a perfect day in London, so it's your day off, start to finish, perfect day in the city, what would you do?
Oh my God.
So we like to call it coast to coast. We go to West Side Diner for breakfast.
Also, amazing food.
Amazing food, great breakfast.
Your value per dollar is
Oh,
insane, and the
gorgeous.
food is fantastically
West Side
cooked.
is
And they call you
incredible.
sweetheart.
Yep. And then you take a stroll down to East Park, and you hit the water slides, and you hit the wave pools, and you hit the go-karts.
And you
Maybe
take a little
some
break in
putt-putt.
the grass with your bag full of little beers, but you
Yeah.
got to do that sneaky.
Smoke a couple joints in the parking lot.
Smoke a couple joints in the parking lot, drink a few beers at East Park, and then stop by Sonny's Express to pick up some affordable houseplants. They're gigantic. It's just a little convenience store, completely unassuming, but you can get so many excellent houseplants from there. And then where we're going to end it off? The Holy Diver. Or more realistically, Krabby Joe's. Either one will work, but like maybe both.
That's
an
that's my
amazing day.
perfect day. Pretty sure it's Danny's too.
That's my perfect day. Absolutely.
you guys didn't let me know about this.
It only happened once. It
true.
only happened once, but it
Yeah.
was
I saw
the
this-
perfect
I
day.
saw the sunburns after.
Oh, yeah, I
think
couldn't.
I might have.
Except we went to KFC after not Holy Diver.
Holy Diver wasn't a thing yet, I don't think. Or
True.
It wasn't. No, it
Coast to
wasn't.
coast, west side to East Park.
I like
what's
it.
Bonnie's perfect
Oh,
day?
guys, it's gonna
Slam me some Bonnie Day.
This is so generic, or so predictable. I live right by Museum London. I love to hit me up a museum that's quiet. It's never full of people. Good shit going on there.
They got
Farmers
good
market.
frogs.
Oh, good frogs in the
In the
pond
little
there
pond.
too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Going to the farmers market at the Western Fair, I love that. Me and my ma tend to hit that up on Saturday mornings. It's great. I mean, everything has changed. So the landscape of everything has changed so much. What else am I doing on a Saturday? I'd want to go to like a garden center too.
for sure.
Whether it be, I mean, I like the lineup at He-Man's the last couple of years.
Too
It's been
much.
a bit wild. So I tend to go to Cannondale. We're going out of city now.
Kendall's sick.
Oh, yeah.
We're going Cannondale, and then we're gonna hit up the beach.
Fort Stanley?
Does that count as London? I feel like it does.
It's enough in London culture.
There's a bus that goes there. Guy Lombardo played there. He's from London. It works. Go down Lake Erie over Huron all the way. I love me a muddy, murky body of water. Don't give me that. Don't give me that face lake. Give me that muck. And yeah, come home delightfully sun-soaked and
Catch a flick at the Highland.
catch. Oh my goodness!
Oh, the Highland.
Mhm.
Highland Cinema.
Yeah,
If I could go back and choose a place I couldn't live without, I would say Highland Cinema.
Highland.
I need to go there
It's
more.
great.
I don't go there enough to say I couldn't live without it, but I'd be pretty devastated if it wasn't here.
Yeah, I go a lot to the Highland. Oof, that place is good. So yeah, that would be a great day, and ended off with some fries with mustard, not ketchup.
Sling bladed.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's an amazing. All of those are. You guys are all inspiring me right now. I'm going to write this down. This is a great day, and I need to do this.
Wait, and it all involved like water, plants, food.
Yeah.
What else
Yeah.
is in there?
Yeah, that sounds good. Amazing.
Beer.
Yeah, beer.
Shout out Beer Lab.
Yeah, sun. There has to be a sunny day.
Beer Lab's new lager is delicious. Through the
Nice.
cloud.
I don't think
I
this
like the
one's
design.
on
Hello,
here.
our good friends.
Well, I'm just showing them.
This one's on.
For those who can't see,
Yeah.
I held up a
Nick
beer.
Beard, shout out.
Yes,
What great-
episode 13. You can go back and listen to it. Beer Lab.
Oh, nice.
I love my friend Nick.
Early ep. Okay, last question for the London questions before we do our final game, okay?
Uh-oh.
Hidden gem in the city. So that could be a person, place, or thing.
Ooh. Dan Radio Man. He's the place or the person. The person in the place.
Well, you can find the place if you look at his Google reviews.
Yeah.
True. Hidden gem, person, place, or thing.
I mean, it's not a local business,
Mm-mm.
but Krabby Joe's is it's a little bit of a hidden gem. I swear to you, the service is fantastic.
But it's not
it's
just
so
any
cheap.
Krabby Joe's.
Not just any Krabby Joe's. Has to be the downtown London Krabby Joe's. Their
one on
staff fantastic. The price points are. If you want to go catch a Leafs game, that's a little bit. But yeah, that's a surprise hidden gem. That's sounds totally lame, but I swear it's better.
$10 triples.
Yeah, the one on Dundas was a big thing because, me and Patrick went to CCH. So walking down, I had a lot of friends who would go there for half price wings and be back to class late because it's like, sorry, it's wing day at Krabby Joe's. I had to go. This is where we go.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but between Krabby Joe's and Fitzray's, that's pretty much my two watering holes, my two hidden gems.
Yeah.
Person.
Which is such a
What
crappy-
about Rhinestone Cowboy? Like a fella walking around with the camcorder and the
Holy Diver?
not Holy Diver.
The person, not the place.
Yeah. No, Rhinestone Cowboy.
Oh, person?
Yeah.
Hidden
person.
gem, Robert Bonifant.
Oh,
Robert Bonifant. Yes,
True,
he is.
true.
He is absolutely. He is a regular here, and he is. There's no one in this world like Robert Bonifant, and I
no
mean
one
that in the
knows
best way.
And
He
no one
brings
that
us-
knows him that's going to hear this either.
No.
He's so hidden.
He brings us Miss Vicky's. He brings us Joe Louis. Sometimes he'll bring us a soda pop. Sometimes he'll bring us talcum powder.
Yeah.
me,
Costume jewelry.
I think it's wild. He's got he lived with his mother and they have no one in their life. So it's like I'm receiving all of his mother's hand-me-downs.
It's fantastic.
It's
Right.
Beautiful man.
Well,
it's
he is,
the wildest.
and she sends them for you.
yeah, and
No,
Alice,
Robert
wonderful
Bonifant,
woman.
He is absolutely filled with stories, like constantly. Like, and he'll ask you about your life. He'll tell you all about his. Like, and he genuinely cares when he asks you those questions. Like, he is just like one of the most interesting people I have ever
Hidden
met
gem.
in my life.
Our customers.
Our customers.
Yeah.
It's wonderful making him giggle like a schoolgirl. A little schoolgirl.
So many times when I was away doing other things, I would get videos from Andy that Andy had taken of Bonnie getting Bonifant to jump up on the counter and sit there talking to her like this. Like he's 60 years old. The man he's an expert puzzler. If you want to learn how to glue a jigsaw puzzle down or what company makes the best jigsaw puzzles, he knows. And I shit thee nay. He is such a gem of a human being. Like, it's just, you'll never meet him. So he's our hidden gem.
Yeah, absolutely hidden.
Perfect. That's a perfect choice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, with that perfect hidden gem being chosen, we're going to do our final game. So this is a lightning round. So we're going to give everybody the opportunity to answer this as quick as possible. No explanation needed for your answer, but some of the questions might have been kind of tough. Maybe they'll be kind of easy, but we're going to try and get through them. It's a this or that. So, all right. So this is our classic game. I may have already spoiled it there. This is our classic game. It's time for this.
Oh,
That. Yeah, the timing works. Yeah, with Zoom, it's so fun. We got to make it work. All right, so like I said, this is a lightning round, so we're going to give you options. Okay, Aaron, hit us with the first option.
All right, so these options will be very similar, so you have to choose your favorite of each. First one off, Western Fair Market or Covent Garden Market?
I stated it earlier, Western Fair.
I'm Covent Garden. I'm Covent Garden.
I'm Covent Garden because I go there more. I just know it better.
I go to the other one more, but I like the Western Fair one more for my
Yeah,
wallet.
you know what? No, Western Fair is too busy for me. I'm still Covent Garden Market.
Western Fair also has a lot of like independent businesses.
Lightning
in there,
round.
right, that are pretty cool.
Lightning round.
Okay.
No
There's a
explanation.
lot that suck there.
Sunfest or Home County?
Home County.
Home County.
Home County.
Home County.
We won't be there this year, unfortunately, selling our wares, but yeah, it's great.
Have
Love Home County.
the have the Good Brothers play at Sunfest? There's your answer.
Masonville Mall or White Oaks Mall?
Oof.
Masonville, the surrounding area is better.
Masonville, if it still had mini golf. White Oaks, because I'm nostalgic for it.
White Oaks because it's most similar to how I remember malls as a child. It's the least updated of all the major malls in the city.
It's a
Just a mess. Just a mess of a maze in there.
Amazing.
So you get so
Oh,
lost
you
in there.
always get lost. No matter how many times you go there, you always get lost in a goddamn honeycomb.
Well,
Okay, Springbank Park or Gibbons Park?
Gibbons.
Gibbons. Gibbons is my park.
Gibbons has a pool.
Springbank smells like poo, Gibbons.
Yeah. There's a special little trail in Gibbons too. One time I saw a fully awake raccoon just walking down the trail in the middle of the day.
Glad it was awake
Yeah.
while it was walking.
Well, yeah. Allegedly.
Fanshawe College or Western University?
Oh,
Dropout.
Went to Fanshawe, so I'm gonna say Fanshawe.
I'll go Fanshawe.
I went to Fanshawe. Ooh, that away. Waterloo? Yeah, I went that one. Out of town.
Fanshawe.
What about London Brewing Co-op or Beer Lab?
Beer Lab.
Beer Lab.
Beer Lab.
Beer
Duh.
Lab. No offense, but you know, Nick Baird is one of my great friends.
I've known Adele for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
There's
Yeah.
no beating them. You can just their beer is fantastic. You know, it's Beer Lab.
Yeah.
Brown and Dixon or City Lights?
Brown and
Dixon.
Dixon.
They are.
They are my neighbors right around the corner.
No
and,
explanation needed.
sorry, and like my BFF.
Yeah, they're really good friends.
Fantastic people.
Incredible. Like all of us hang out together all the time. Jason just had a birthday the other day. I was there. It was beautiful.
Happy belated, Jason.
They also throw shows and are planning more, so they're like
It's
great for that.
true.
Yeah,
It's true. They're like the bookstore version of Groove.
They really are.
totally.
Yeah.
How about bike the Thames Valley Parkway or hike in an environmentally significant area, one of our trails?
Hike.
Hike.
Bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could ever get the motivation to actually fix my bike, it might be the other one, but hike for now.
Biking's so nice.
Medway. I really like Medway.
You can't talk on a bike.
Yeah, you can.
It's tough. It's
Oh,
tough.
Bike.
You're just shouting at one another. How's your day? Not bad.
You can get, I've seen my father ride on a bicycle
While smoking?
while smoking and holding an umbrella.
Fair enough. It can be done. He's an exception, not the rule.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, we could have a conversation on a bicycle if you wanted. I'd go very slow. Very slow.
Fire roasted coffee or Black Walnut Cafe?
Rebel Remedy.
Has-beens.
I like it.
We've gone rogue.
Bodega. Bodega.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all right.
No, honestly, it's
We're all-
good to get the honest
correct.
answer out of everybody, right? And shout outs to those local spots. Last one here. Highland Theater or Mustang Drive-In?
Highland.
Highland.
all the time.
Mustang still, though. Mustang sing.
Mustang is really cool.
Yeah, you can get Highland year round. Going
Yeah.
to the Mustang, having a little
Yeah,
makeout
but-
sesh while Finding Nemo plays on the big screen. What's better than that?
Hell yeah. Sucking
I
the
love
liquor shop
Mustang.
your lover's teeth.
I drive by the Mustang all the time with work, and every single time I'm telling people, we need to. I need to go there more. Like, I love the Mustang driving.
Hey man, if you need a Stang,
Oh
buddy,
my god.
Yeah, honestly,
hit your boy up.
bring a crew out with some brews,
Yeah.
right? There you go.
Yeah,
You
man.
can stay up past 9 o'clock.
You get 2 movies, right? We could go see Top Gun and I don't know, some bad other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's 3 of them, so you know.
Okay, guys. Well, that is pretty much the round of this or that. Thank you so much for competing. You made it through.
Thank you.
Does anyone get a medal for that?
We'll have a beer hang after this or something. You know,
Sounds good.
there you go.
Like right now?
This is pretty much the end of the episode. We did say it before, but is there anything that you guys wanted to shout out or pass along to the listeners? As you know, we love Grooves Records, and we want everybody to check it out. And if you haven't been there already, check it out. But make it a mainstay of your regular goings on in the city. Is there anything you guys wanted to pass out to the people, our listeners, our loyal listeners here?
Check out a show here and there. Check out some local bands. Buy a record. Do something creative.
Don't
You
be
know?
scared to come by.
Mhm.
Don't be scared to try something new.
Create.
Yeah, the world can be ugly, so why not make something beautiful?
Mhm.
Or ugly as well.
Yeah.
Stay ugly. No, love you, Troy. Love you, Sean Ray. Love you, Robert Bonifant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to our coworkers who are not here:
Yeah.
Melissa,
And
Bob, Nivik,
Mm.
Seth,
Mm.
and you know
Our
the
other cashies.
our other cashies. You know, yeah,
Tyler Faulkner.
a little you know MVP Dill.
He's a little
chill Dill.
Backup.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Aaron, is there anything you
Thank you.
want to cap the episode off with?
No, that's everything. Thanks so much for taking the time to chat with us all about the music scene and the record scene.